Right now, we want to move on to our next segment for the day. I apologize. We will not be bringing the cooking segment again today. We are having a bit of a tech issue, but that will be sorted. These chicken wings, Italy watu sijali. We'll make a space for them at some point. But my next guest is here to talk about the fire that changed his life. His name is Edwin Maingi, and he's an entrepreneur. Karibu sana to the show. Now, you've had quite a story. At one point, you survived a very, very serious ordeal. Tell me what happened.
Well, my name is Edwin Maingi, as you said. This was back in the year 2003. I was just a small kid. I had a sibling and another one brother and a sister. So it was just a normal day. We came out of school. We used to live in South Bay here. So many guys know me as Nyamachoma. That is my AKA name.
Oh no, I hope not because of the fire.
It is because of the fire.
Wow.
Actually, it has turned out to be my name. Everybody calls me Nyamachoma. I used to cry about it, but now I've taken it as a positive thing. Let them call me.
Oh dear.
Yes.
You're here. That's what matters.
I'm here.
You're
yeah,
alive
yeah.
and well.
So just a normal day. We came out of school, went as usual, slept. Our parents used to work very late, so we used to stay at shopping center. It's a big shopping center there is. So I was working at night, in the middle of the night, with fire all over the house. So I just woke up because I felt some little bit of heat, and I was like, this is what's not happening. So when I woke up, I found our roof was on fire, everyone was on fire, minus the bed. It had not yet caught on fire. So
and it's just you and your siblings in the house?
It was us, the three of us, yes.
And are you the oldest?
I was the eldest.
Wow. So
Yes.
you have was it a brother and a sister?
Yeah, brother and a sister, yes. I was the eldest. So when I woke up my younger sister. She woke up, but my younger brother didn't wake up. I think he had taken in a lot of carbon monoxide by then, and he was already dead in the bed.
Wow.
We used to sleep, the three of us. So I'm a kid, I don't know much. I woke up and went under the bed.
Oh,
Mind you, the mattress caught fire. You're looking at me with there today, I did none. I've grown with none.
wow.
So I woke up, went under the fire, and I covered my small sister like this. Then all of a sudden, the mattress caught fire. So it started melting on me.
Oh my gosh.
From the head. If I show you the pictures of where I was in the hospital, you'd wonder how this person is alive here today.
Yeah.
But well, it started melting on me. As you can see, also the hands. It was all the mattress and to the spinal cord. But I couldn't hold it because of the pain I felt. I mean, Joyce, have you ever felt pain that makes you want to die than continue just feeling it anymore? Now, that place under that bed, when the mattress was on fire and melting on me, yet I'm covering my small sister, I couldn't contain it anymore.
How old were you at this point?
I was around 9.
Wow.
Yes.
And your sister was how old?
She was 3.
And then your late brother as well?
He was 4. Yeah, 4.
Wow.
4, yeah, till we had left each other
My
with
goodness.
1 or 2 years, yes.
I can't imagine that.
So down under the bed, we are there, we are crying to point, tears out. I mean, Joyce, it was one painful thing that I thought will end there after going to hospital, but life became worse after hospital. So well, I couldn't contain the pain anymore. I ran out of I ran out of the
From
under the bed
mattress, under
and
the bed.
ran outside the house, and in the process of running out, something cut me in between here, but they have fixed it so far right now. Only to come out, leaving my small sister in there. I couldn't do anything, but well, she was saved later on. We found each other in Kenyatta Hospital, but she died a year later because her lungs had accommodated too much carbon monoxide.
Wow.
For me, how I lived, how I survived, I don't know. Only God knows. And only God had a reason why I should be where I am today and to survive this far. Because according to the doctors, I was 3 degrees burns. And it could take a very long time for me to heal because I was smelling you could feel, you know, when you're burning meat, the smell that comes to you. So you could feel that smell when I ran outside.
Wow.
And some of the my hands could not move.
Right.
It's by grace today they can move my
Your
fingers.
nerves were somehow restored.
Yeah, they were stuck, and the pain that was in me, I couldn't feel my body in any manner. The kind of burns I got, I couldn't feel anything. So when I ran outside, these guys that were trying to put up the fire, one of them picked me, carried me from in his back, rushed me to a dispensary there in South Bay. And then later on, I was taken to Kenyatta Hospital, where I rejoined, my sister rejoined me later. But it took a year process of treating me, of which we were never able to pay.
Wow.
All the documents, everything burnt in that house. Well, it was a traumatizing period. Trust me, it burnt me to a point. It touched the skull, not so much, but just a little bit from the X-ray of the doctors and all that. That I was able to retrieve them later, but they don't have all the files.
Yeah.
So I got seriously burnt on the head because the mattress started melting on my head. So even in hospital, there were 50-50 chances of, is this guy going to survive or is not going to survive?
Right.
They were not even sure because of the degrees of the burns. But God does his wonders. So
whoa, he sure does. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that has to be one of the most harrowing stories I have ever heard. And you really are a miracle walking today. I mean, praise God for that.
I thank
I'm
God.
grateful that you're alive.
Yes.
I can't imagine the trauma of that as a 9-year-old. So you guys were completely alone in the house? There was no auntie or house help or anyone?
No.
And your parents were still at work?
What normally used to happen is our house help used to come, do their work, to do her work, and then she leaves. Then she leaves us to sleep. By 9 p.m. we already sleep.
Wow.
So after doing our homework, we had a restaurant opposite Bishop Shopping Center just outside. So my mom used to handle it with my dad.
Okay, so that's where they were.
That's where they were.
Was the cause of the fire ever established?
Till today, if you go to South Bay Shopping Center, in between this supermarket and some building where there's so many women, you will find some free space there, land. It was ours. But because of the cause of the fire, that's where the house was. We just built a small house because we were planning to put up, my mom was planning to put up a building for business there. So we just put a small thing. The cause of the fire was electricity, but it's non-explainable because our place used to be used as parking, which now has been turned as a garage. It used to be used as parking, and much of the cars. So there are 2 stories here, which have never been discovered which one is real or not. So somebody tried stealing fuel from one of the cars, and then it got burst. It put all the other cars on fire. Then our house turned. Then the next building the same. But another one says it was electricity default. So I don't know. I've never followed it up.
Wow.
I saw no interest of checking it out. But it's a fire that at least took a number of lives of people, minus.
I understand it was at least 15 lives?
Yes, according to the numbers that I got.
The house was attached to another building, or?
There was a building, the one for the Indo guys, and then there was another building which has now been turned into a supermarket.
Okay.
It didn't get on fire, but the fire caught the houses that were surrounding.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Waking up to the reality that your brother had passed away literally in the same bed with you.
Yes.
And here you are trying to cover your sister as well, and then, you know, she passes away as well. And you're only 9 years old. I mean, you must have been through quite some trauma as a child. Did you ever make it to counseling or anything like that? How did you cope? How did you actually come to terms and fully grieve everything that had happened to your body, to your house where you were growing up, to your brother and sister?
Now that's where the interesting point is, Joyce, because I left the hospital. Okay, we stayed 1 year in hospital. My sister died in the hospital, and then we had to bury her. I was bandaged all over the body. So 1 year later, my mother, when my sister died, she got stressed and she tried poisoning herself, which got her into getting arrested. So I had to run. I actually never paid the bills to the hospital, Kenyatta. I'm sorry, but Well, it is what it is.
Okay.
So I ran out of Kenyatta Hospital.
But you were 9 years old, or 10 years old at this point.
Because now I couldn't stay there. I was not being offered food, any medication, because bills had piled up to a point you couldn't pay. And
your mom tried to kill herself?
My mom took poison, which got her arrested, so she has to stay because we're trying to take her life. Because now you can imagine losing one child who was burnt into ashes.
Right.
You had to bury ashes for one child. The other one dies in hospital, and you have another one who you have to pay bills, and then now the parents are broken up. You have left with the mother.
Yes. Were they broken up before?
No,
or?
they did after the fire.
Oh no.
Yes. So it had to be a mother here trying to bring up the children who are in hospital. She's not sure if they're going to survive or if they're going to live. So I'm left. So I had to come to the streets of South Bay, and I became a street boy for some period.
Wow. With
bandages all over the body. If you go with you to the streets right now, they will tell you the story. Everybody knows me.
Oh my goodness.
So,
okay, so when your mom was arrested, was she imprisoned for a while, or you said she was arrested?
She was in prison for a while. Not for long. It was like a year, and so because I saw her after 1 year struggling in the streets. That's when she came from looking for me.
First of all, I didn't realize that people, if you're struggling with a mental health issue, that you get arrested and taken to prison. I don't understand that already. That's questionable.
Yes.
Where was your dad in all of this? Because, I mean, you're still his child. As much as there was a lot of trauma that affected their relationship, did you have a relationship? Was he, you know, as far as the hospital bills were concerned?
That was not my real dad. He was the dad for the two kids. I never knew my dad until just the other day, this year. So because I was not his child, he was not interested in anything.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was never there. Even when he became he came to the streets, but there was nothing. So there was no relationship. I couldn't get him, and I didn't know relatives, my sister's mom, and no what. I didn't know anybody. So I had to. I'm the guy who was carrying feces in bags. I'll threaten you to throw it on you if you don't give me some money. Because I had to survive in the streets, and I had to change the schools. The problem was getting burnt was not painful, but growing up to where I am today was the pain that has costed me a lot.
Right.
Trust me, Joyce, I've had to change so many schools in terms of primary. When she came back, she took me. We had to move from Nairobi because the school I was going, Kongoni Primary School, they started calling me names. I used to be called Barnes. And, you know, that is now, I have pains I'm supposed to deal with because my back was a little bit, my spinal cord was touched by the mattress. And that was too much painful. So I had a lot of time to treat it. And now you're dealing with the pain, mental pain, and the people's
physical. Edwin, so I think at this point let's allow us to take a break.
Yes.
And when we come back, I'm very curious to hear how then you went from being out in the street, bandaged from having run away from hospital because your parents couldn't pay the bill, to then sitting here today as an entrepreneur. And indeed, this guy's a walking miracle. So we'd like to have that discussion when we get back. Send in your feedback and your love to him as well. 111-444-111 is the SMS line. You can also comment on Facebook at Switch TV Kenya, and we'll be back after this. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. Thank you again for your company. And I'm here with my guest. His name is Edwin Mange, and oh my goodness, he has quite the story. I mean, literally a walking miracle. Was in a fire at his home with his 3 siblings when he was 9 years old. His brother passed away in that bed. He hid under the bed, covering his sister from the fire that was all around them, only for the mattress to start melting on top of his head and his body. He runs out and was rescued, but then eventually your sister passed away. Here he is in hospital, and your parents have now split up from the ordeal of all of this, and there's hospital bills to pay. You're not actually being treated or served any food, and so you run away to the streets. Wow. And you say you went to the streets literally still with your bandages on.
Definitely.
And those guys who used to pack up some human feces or whatever and threaten passers-by with it.
Yes.
Of course, at this point, school is a challenge. Were you still trying to make it to school while you were in the streets?
It was impossible.
It was impossible.
It was impossible.
So what happened that your life changed, and we're seeing you here today?
Joyce, when my mother came out, she took me and we moved to another county, which is Machakos. She got remarried there, and so I found myself joining another school, which also didn't last for long because they started names. I had to join another one and another one until I stuck to one anyway.
But after she came from prison, she came to look for you?
She came to look for me in Nairobi streets.
Okay.
At least everybody in South Bay knew me, so they knew where to get me.
Okay.
The boy with bandages, of course,
Okay.
because they were still there. So she picked me and we moved to a different place. We started Mutumba business. So I used to do 4 days in school and then 3 days working with her.
Okay.
That's how we survived until she got remarried. But to the other person she got remarried to never wanted me still, and they never took me in as a child. So I've grown feeding part of myself, schooling myself, trying to get scholarships here and there.
Yeah.
So life became more harder when the bandages were taken out, because now the marks could be seen all over. I still had some marks on the face. So the name Nyamachoma started. And that was worse. So
First of all, honestly, yes, I just don't understand us sometimes as a people.
Yes.
Like when someone has been through something so traumatic, why would you insult them that way? Like, we need to do better. Seriously. We need to do better as people, as a country, as human beings, period.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem with people today, they don't understand. Like, if today you get an accident, God forbid, Joyce, and you get a mark, it starts from you. One, you're ashamed of the mark that you have. Two, the people that are out there, when they see it, they start looking at you at a different way. Either you're disabled or something like that, which lowers your self-esteem and everything down. And that's what was going on with me. I got lowered completely. My self-esteem was not there. There was nothing to be proud of. So I had to grow a defense mechanism. I'm not getting mental help. I'm not getting any much of spiritual help. So I had to become a crook to at least defend myself. And even my principal today, both in high school and primary, they can say what I've done, because high school at least I had to become a fighter, beating my teachers also.
Wow.
Yes, I did. My principal, if he was here, could say that.
You beat up your principal?
My teachers, not my principals, because they were not understanding why this guy would have to. I had to apply medicine to make sure these things get healed, and that medicine was smelling. So nobody wanted to sit with me. I had to be put behind there. So there was the stress, the depression, the trauma, and all these had to be taken in by one young person, which is me. And then, to make matters worse, my mom got remarried to an abusive man. So he used to come home drunk, so I have to watch war at home. Sometimes I couldn't sleep home, I had to run away. I'm seeing war at home. In school, there's too much rejection. What does a child like that do?
And I think the thing that's just really heartbreaking about your story, really, is even as a child, you actually never got any counseling.
I never got one.
At the hospital, no one gave you any counseling?
None.
From grief counseling?
None.
Trauma counseling from the fire that you've been through?
None.
Then you ended up on the streets immediately?
Yes. And then the schools I joined, still I didn't get any.
So how have you processed all this?
This is where you say God has his own ways of bringing people. I have been able to beat that depression. Yes, I tried killing myself.
On your own, with no counseling?
Yes, because my mother was not much of it, because she was stressed on how does she school. If my mother is here, she can testify to that. She had to figure out how I'm going to school. She had to figure out how I'm going to feed, because the person we got with, he never wanted to see me or even help me in any manner. And so I had to stand alone. The only person that I could speak to was my CRE teacher, who died in a short period. So I was left in a school of, I have to perform in school, I have to do what, and all this was too much. Well, I never failed. I was not failing, but I never spent enough time in school. I'm the guy who used to go 3 days per week in school. The other days I'm hustling. I'm in the streets, either plowing somebody's land to get that 150 bob, which is what I'm going to use at least to save to do 1, 2, 3 things. I will have to go look for small business jobs here and there to do. I have to do planting, sukuma wiki and all that, and selling. And that's how I survived till Form 4. It was too much until I think the only people that helped me a little bit was Bible Society of Kenya. I remember they came to high school. I was in Form 3. They came, they talked to us. I used to be a crook, so I had a team of crooks. So there was this time preachers call for people to get saved. And you know, if nobody shows up, it's embarrassing a little bit in an high school for teachers. So that's how I met Christ, by the way.
Wait, because you were trying to save the teacher from embarrassment.
No, I was trying to save the pastor from embarrassment. So I told my crew, guys, let's just go pretend we want to get saved there, and we just encourage the pastor because he's preached, nobody's showing. So this guy from Bible Society has preached, guys have listened, nobody has gone for an altar call. So me and my team wake up from the back, go. Tumsaidie too. We just stand. Whatever he's saying, we don't even know what we are doing. We're just going there for fun because, I mean, I used to be the guy to fight whatever, anything that was painful, because I remember there was this, okay, I'm confessing now. There was this time we were doing music festivals. And I used to love it. 2009, there was a fight in Mombasa for interschools. I was among the people who were enjoying watching the schools fighting. I almost became a sadist. Trust me, the journey I've walked to where I am, I wonder even how the transition has come along. Because I used to love to watch people fighting. Like if there's a problem somewhere, my happiness, it makes me happy.
Oh my.
If you are going through a struggle now, I'm happy. If my teacher doesn't see that I'm going through a problem, I'll go break your car doors or windows. That struggle of you, it will make me happy. And that was life coming up.
So you don't fear nothing anymore?
That thing went
Let
away.
me get to some SMSs here, Edwin. Wow. Someone says, praise God, Joyce. I'm Esther from Naivasha, tuned in. Such a painful story, but God is wonderful that he is still alive today. We thank God for that. Indeed. Another says, wow, what a touching testimony. Oh my gosh, people really go through a lot. But God has a reason for everything, and may his name be praised. Amen. Another says, hey, Joyce and Mange. Mange, you are a handsome man. God had a reason why you survived. Never give up. Be encouraged that he who started the good work in you shall surely bring it to completion. And that's by Kare Glory from Chuka University.
Thank you. Thank you.
Indeed. Wengine anasema ukweli Joyce, Mungu wako, and my brother should continue serving him truly. And that's Nesh from Huruma. Maureen Suju anasema tuned in from Syokimau. I have known Edwin for a year now. He is hardworking. I admire his strength, and I know he is going far. You know Maureen Suju?
I guess I know the name.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wow. Amazing, amazing testimony here by our guest this morning. Carol from Juju saying, enjoying the show. Wow, what a story. Aki, indeed, God is faithful. Lena from Siaya saying, wow, wow, wow. Such a touching story. Mental health awareness is still needed in Kenya. Congratulations for being such a strong man. Wow. So we're going to have to get ready to wrap up here in a few moments, but looking at your story, clearly a few themes stick out. Resilience and God's grace, honestly, because some of these things you can't even explain.
Definitely.
But you certainly have been a resilient man. And even now, as you continue to journey through life, still, I'm sure there are moments you sit down and you reflect on that night and what happened, and it must weigh you down. Hopefully you've gone for counseling. I really think you should.
Right now, not yet. Can you imagine?
I really think you should.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as resilience is concerned, maybe there's someone else who's going through something. It may not be a similar situation, but you know, for them right now, they're in the thick of it, and they they don't know what to do next, and they're tired. They want to give up. Maybe they're even contemplating taking their own lives.
Yes.
What would you say to that person today? And feel free to speak to this camera right here.
Okay. Now, well, that rejection, that tough life, that struggling life gave me the mind of a business person. My patience, it taught me patience, and it gave me focus. If you can't stop me when I want to achieve something and I want to do something. So I'll say to you, that person out there who is struggling or is about to do something that is not good, or who is about to take your life, or the person going through depression, there is hope. You never know how it's going to come. It was years later when I did some voluntary somewhere that somebody gave me an opportunity to start doing preaching in schools. And that changed the whole system in me and life. And this person held my hand to move to the next level. And here I can't speak to you. I would say there is hope. I've learned to subdue, to conquer, and now I'm in the process of supplying the world. So you don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't completely give up. Give yourself 2 more, 3 chances, whether it's food you're lacking, whether it's what you're lacking. Don't give up. Approach and push yourself and follow people and push. If it's Joyce Omondi, you see she can help you and you don't know how to reach her, trust me, knock our doors and all our social media and look for her until you get her. And that's how you're going to move. When I want something, I go after it.
Wow.
I'm sure one of my mentors, PLO Lumumba, can attest to this. I've pushed him to a point. He said to say, okay, I'm going to mentor you.
Fantastic. Very well said. Very well said. And I like how you've said you've conquered, you've subdued, and now you're supplying.
I'm in the process of supplying, yes.
Wow. Tell me about your entrepreneurship journey.
Well,
what do you do now?
I'm a thinker.
Okay.
That has grown me to a consultant in terms of business strategy.
Okay.
So I cleared high school and I met this person in my process of doing my small businesses, because I started as a pest control services person. I'm one of the guys who will pata kwa streets wakiuza dawa za panya na mende, these hawkers point. So that broadened me to get into 1, 2, 3 business. And one day I sprayed somebody's house and the person gave me a job to work with Dabshil in Dubai as an intern.
Wow.
So I flew to Dubai, stayed there 1 year. So my life has just changed the other day, 2017. Okay. So I came back to the country 2018. So that 1 year, I was expanded by the Arabic post that I was working for. That brought me into expanding my business too. So I'm into beauty business, that is women business, selling any human hair. I'm supplying beauty weight loss products. Okay. I'm doing quite a number of things on this side. Yes,
you need to write a book. Or you need to, maybe we need to go back to Victor and have them make you a movie.
Definitely.
My goodness. So you've gone from poverty, the streets, trauma, internship in Dubai.
Definitely.
Like who does that?
Imagine.
Oh my gosh. And here you are today, an entrepreneur.
Yes.
With PLO Lumumba as your mentor.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Sawa basi boss. Edwin, I really want to thank you for coming and sharing your story. It's very inspiring. And indeed, I think it's just such a testimony that no season in our life is permanent.
Yes,
and, you know, it emphasizes all the more what we were saying this morning in our devotion segment, that we have to keep hope alive. And for every day that God gives you breath, I like how you put it when you were encouraging people, try again, give yourself another chance, keep pushing, tell yourself it's one more time, every single time. And who knows where you'd end up. So congratulations to you. We'll be waiting for your book.
I will.
You need to do something.
I will. I'm in the process.
Now when the counseling, Pia?
I'm working on that. I think I will just organize it. I'm working with Super Life Company right now as the business development manager, the strategist, and they suggested the same. So yes, I will. It's a big entity. I think
it's important. It's important.
I will.
Yeah. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. How can people find you and your business?
On social media as Edwin Maingi. You go to Facebook, Edwin Maingi, Instagram, Edwin Maingi, Twitter, Edwin Maingi. The businesses, it's just Super Life is what I'm known with right now because I'm representing them.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, goodness, what a show it's been. Guys, thank you so much for your company today. Thank you for all of your feedback as well. Thank you to every single one of my guests. It's been a great show with each one of them. And time now for me to say kwaheri, but let's meet here tomorrow as we wrap up the week with lots of music here on the show. This has been Full Circle with Joyce. Let's meet here again tomorrow. Until then, have yourselves a blessed day. Ciao.